Couple of Legends Division coaches joining us now. Pat Fitzgerald of Northwestern, Brady Hoke of Michigan. And kind of a common denominator with the two of you, non-conference schedules I think are really interesting. I want to start with you, Brady. Your first game is the defending national champs, Alabama, down at the Cowboys Stadium outside of Dallas. How does it impact your preparation knowing that Alabama looms in that first game?
Well, I think, you know, obviously as a program, your kids all through the summer, I mean, that's a marquee game, and it's an opportunity to play in a great venue. It's an opportunity for them to go play the reigning national champs. So, you know, that's an exciting part of it. I think as a staff, obviously, you do your due diligence like you do on your normal opener, but I think there's a little bit more excitement when you look at playing the University of Alabama.
Coach Fitzgerald, similar with you, it's not necessarily the marquee opponent, but with you guys in the non-conference, so many very solid major conference opponents, Syracuse, Vanderbilt, Boston College, to play three teams from power conferences. How important is it that your team get off to a good start?
A lot different than last year, Dave. We had 6 out of our first 9 games on the road a year ago. Now we're going to have 4 out of our first 5 at home. So that's going to help us quite a bit just from the standpoint of, I think, what is it, about 70%, give or take, Big Ten teams win at home in theory, right? Now we just have to go out and do it.
Right.
We're playing, you know, we made a decision a few years ago to get prepared for what might happen, to up our strength of schedule, and continue to play academic comparables in the non-conference schedule. It's going to be a great test. We went up to Syracuse a few years ago, and we didn't play very well, and it'll be a great challenge in the opener. But to come home, have our home opener under the lights against Vanderbilt, you know, they did a great job a year ago, and you know, we're gonna be focused on those. But to play 3 BCS teams in a non-conference is going to be a challenge, without a doubt.
Fitz, you talk about improving your rush defense quite a bit. What are some of the specific things you can do during training camp to do that?
Well, Brady knows it always starts up front. You know, we've got to continue to develop our depth and have a multi-wave attack of having multiple guys that we can roll in there to be physical at the point of attack all day long. We've got to fit better at the second level. You know, our linebackers have got to fit more properly, and we've got to tackle better when our linebackers and our safeties come downhill. We had too many explosion plays a year ago that happened because of poor angles and missed tackling, and those are fundamentals that we preach and we work. And we didn't do a good enough job, obviously, with the way we played a year ago. The great news is that's all over, guys. It's a whole new team, and we've worked diligently. You guys came out a little bit to spring practice. We do the same things that just about everybody does. It's about fundamental football and improving those things up front, and it is always going to start with the guys up front in the trenches.
Yeah.
Coach Hoke, you talked about the leadership of the team yesterday a little bit. Talk about how that's going to help you with the schedule that you have, how important that leadership is going to be.
Well, I think any time, you know, in any team, in any successful team, those guys in those leadership roles set the pace for how you're going to prepare your film study, your fundamentals in practice, first guy out there, last guy to lead, and I think our senior group has done a nice job. I think, you know, Denard has grown as an individual and grown as a leader, and his teammates see that. And you know, Jordan Kovacs is a guy who has done a tremendous job, and so we're excited about where they're at right now. I think we've had a good summer. You know, we don't know because we don't. It's not like basketball where we get to work out with them now.
How about that?
It's unbelievable. That's another discussion.
Yeah, we don't have no time for that.
But it's, you know, we're excited to get into camp on Sunday and see where we're at.
Brady, compare this year's defense from spring to spring and talk a little bit about replacing Mike Martin.
Well, you know, Mike was an excellent player for us, and he did a great job of leading, did a great job of playing. Will Heiniger played his best football as a fifth-year senior, and Ryan Van Bergen. Will Campbell has had an unbelievable spring. Or summer, I should say. He's down to 309 pounds. I'm very proud in how he's gone about his business every day. And Craig Rowe moving in and playing on the strong side. Jabril Black moving down. I think it helps us as a team. I think we've got a chance to be faster defensively because of that. Now, if we're going to be tough enough at the point of attack, that's what we're going to find out.
Fitz, one of the things that we talked about yesterday and heard you talk about was Kane Coulter and just his continued development. He was outstanding 2 springs ago. Again this year, did a great job. Talk about with him being in the starting lineup and being that everyday guy. He knows he doesn't have to look over the shoulder How has he changed, or what are some of the things that you've seen?
Well, the quarterback has to be the man that walks onto the field, makes everybody better. And he has that type of attitude. He takes that approach to the way he approaches everything that he does. You know, skill set wise, you could see what he did a year ago. 600 throwing, 600 rushing, 400 receiving. He's a very dynamic athlete. Now to just have him focus on one thing, the growth potential there. I don't know where the ceiling is. He had a great spring. He's taken over that role, and if you think back to when we had Dan Persa kind of emerging to be the starting quarterback, Kane has more experience as we sit here today than Danny did. Same thing with Mike Kafka. So, you know, he's a little bit further ahead, but now to be the guy, you know, this is a great opportunity for him to figure out what it's like really to be the guy when everybody asks you the question.
Yeah.
Instead of asking Dan or someone, now you're getting asked all those questions. So this is a great first test to him, and I think he's handled it well.
Anything else about the rules in the summer you guys want to discuss?
Make sure your helmet stays on,
yeah,
all right?
It's going to stay on. No, we can talk a lot about the rules.
You guys could become basketball coaches too. I mean, if you want to be busy
I'm
in
okay
the
with
summer.
football.
Yeah, I think we're fine.
Brady, I
you.
did want to ask you, you mentioned you haven't made a decision yet on Fitz Toussaint and whether or not he'll be eligible, has had some off-the-field problems. At what point do you expect to make that decision?
Well, I'm sure I'll make it somewhere in the next month. You know, we'll go through fall camp, and he'll have some things. There's consequences when you don't have the standard of performance we want, and so we'll find out.
Any more basketball talk, or are we done with
No,
that?
I
We're
think
done with short pants.
It's
No
been
more
great.
short
It's really been. We'll try to address the rule changes for you.
Well,
Thank you very
thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, if there's anyone who's
Appreciate it.
empowered to do that, it's this guy
I know
right
quite
here.
a few compliance people.
Yeah.
I know.
Brady, Hoke, Pat Fitzgerald, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys. Go Cats.
Thank you.